Good evening and welcome to Kini News. PKR President Anwar Ibrahim's intention to build a bridge to Umno has courted even more flack from his allies in the opposition. This came following his press conference earlier this week where he claimed that informal talks with Umno are already taking place.
More opposition MPs have spoken up against opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim having informal talks with Umno. In a statement today, 5 MPs from DAP, Warisan, Muda and PKR told Anwar that the formation of any coalition must be based on a noble agenda and a shared value system. The joint statement was signed by Bukit Gelugor MP Ramkarpal Singh, Penampang MP Darrell Laking, Muar MP Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman, Segambut MP Hanayo, and Petaling Jaya MP Maria Chin Abdullah. They said they did not want to engage in a futile exercise to rebuild Malaysia, and wanted to rebuild Malaysia with the right foundation, as the nation could crumble again without it. They said the opposition needed to learn from Perikatan Nasional that had built sandcastles with no strong foundation and is being held at ransom with constant threats of withdrawal of support from UMNO. The MP said that any possible cooperation with any political parties needs to be based on a common struggle, namely having a reform mindset and a commitment to implement those reforms. And it was their belief that the existing court cluster and even UMNO today do not possess the above agenda and values to rebuild Malaysia. They added that enough time was being wasted arguing about numbers and who should be Prime Minister, and the focus should instead be on policies that will win the trust and hearts of Malaysians and lead the opposition to victory in the coming general elections.
Ramadan and Aidilfitri bazaars as well as Tarawih prayers will be allowed during the upcoming fasting month. While this is exciting news for Muslims all over Malaysia, UMNO's Secretary-General Ahmad Maslan has questioned why the government has yet to call for Parliament to reconvene.
UMNO Secretary-General Ahmad Maslan has questioned why Parliament has still not reconvened. This came following the announcement by the government yesterday that they will allow the operation of Ramadan and Aidilfitri bazaars as well as Tarawih prayers during the upcoming fasting months. In a post on Facebook today, Ahmad pointed out that schools have now reopened and several economic sectors as well. He said, the age of MPs should not be an excuse for the government to convene a sitting of the Dewan Rakyat. He added that although there are 100 MPs who are aged 60 or older, there are still 120 elected representatives under 60 years old, and the quorum for the Dewan Rakyat is only 26 members. On March 3rd, de facto Law Minister Taqiyuddin Hassan had said that Parliament was not suspended, but its sitting had been merely postponed on legal grounds to enable the government to combat the COVID-19 pandemic more effectively. He said the decision was also taken based on scientific facts and data gathered in relation to the pandemic. Taqiyuddin said the government did not want to expose MPs to unnecessary risk, as many of them fall in the high-risk group for COVID-19. According to him, out of all the MPs, 77 are aged 61 to 69, 19 are between 70 and 79, and 4 are aged 80 and above. Taqiyuddin added that Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin had given an assurance that Parliament sitting can be held after the emergency ends on August 1st.
Although they are still part of the government, the Barisan National Coalition has set up 5 task forces to perform check and balance. Check and balance on who? On the government, of course.
Barisan Nasional has set up 5 task forces to perform check and balance on the government. This was announced by its Executive Secretary Muhammad Safri Abdul Aziz. In a statement yesterday, he said the coalition would form on education, economy, democracy and law, national unity, and a task force for automatic voting for those under 18. He said the task forces would have experts, academics, and community leaders amongst its members. Former Education Minister Mazir Khalid will lead the Education Task Force. Former Finance Minister Johari Abdul Ghani will lead the Economy Task Force. Dewan Rakyat Deputy Speaker Azalina Osma Said leads the Democracy and Law Task Force, while Richard Custom Mosinal leads the National Unity Task Force. And MIC Youth Chief Siva Raj Chandran heads the task force for an automatic voting for those under 18 years old. Safri said that this was in line with the BN Supreme Council's decision during a March 3rd meeting where they agreed to monitor the government and speak up on the Rakyat's behalf, especially on policies that are of public interest.
Science, Technology and Innovation Minister Kairi Jamaluddin was the first person in Malaysia to receive China's Sinovac vaccine today. He recorded a message for the public after receiving the shot.
大家好，我是凯里科学部长。我刚打了 Sinovac 疫苗，我想说这是安全的，我感觉很好，中文也突然更好。无论是哪一种疫苗都是安全的，让我们一起打败病毒。 保护自己，保护大家。
Last week, PKR President Anwar Ibrahim claimed that some PKR MPs had been approached with offers to entice them into supporting Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin. Now, a Bersatu leader has called on PKR to focus on solving the party's own internal issues instead of blaming others for the defections of their MPs.
Bersatu Information Chief Wan Saiful Wanjan said PKR leaders should focus on solving the party's internal issues and stop blaming others over the defection of its MPs. In a statement today, he said the reality is that PKR is on the verge of collapse and its own members do not have faith in the party. He said they should solve their own internal issues and not try to change the topic and divert attention with slander. He said this in response to allegations that were thrown against Perikatan Nasional recently, that the PN government, led by Bersatu, was trying to get opposition MPs to switch sides. On Monday, PKR President Anwar Ibrahim had claimed that enticement was offered to at least 5 PKR MPs in exchange for their support to PN. Among them was Padang Serai MP M. Karupaya, who had told several media today that he was contacted by a man identified as Azhar, and the person had allegedly offered him monetary rewards in exchange for his support for PN. Wan Saiful questioned who Azhar was and said that the Padang Serai MP should have known that if someone is not an official representative of a party, then the offer did not come from the party. He added that Karupaya should lodge a report with the MECC and police if he really has evidence on his claim.
Inspector General of Police Abdul Hamid Bador revealed that there is a movement consisting of young police officers within the police force who are conspiring to get rid of him.
Inspector General of Police Abdul Hamid Bador has claimed that there is a group of young police officers within the force conspiring to get rid of him. He said there have been attempts from the group to humiliate and bring him down. According to Hamid, their ambition was to dominate the police force for their personal interest. In an interview with Sinar Haryan yesterday, he advised them to stop. He said the police force is not anyone's, nor is it a playing field. Hamid was asked about allegations of an alleged cartel within the police who wanted to control the force to allow them to carry out dirty works. He called on them to repent, saying that when they are 60 years old and have to hang up their uniform, no one will be afraid of them, and he hopes they won't regret it then. Hamid has been dedicated to removing corrupt officers from the police force since he took the helm in May 2019. There were numerous arrests against his own men who were involved in corruption and drug abuse.
That's a wrap for Kini News this evening. For more stories, go on over to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on social media on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook because we also post the latest news headlines over there. Before we go, if you want to support independent media, do consider subscribing to malaysiakini.com. Go on over to our subscription page at Malaysia Kini and check out all the attractive deals we have for subscriptions. If you're heading out, don't forget your mask, and when you can, do try to stay home. We still haven't beaten this virus just yet. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, Malaysia.